and connects the ka, the soul, to the earthly body. Just like your brain regulates order in the physical body, the ka regulates order in the spirit body, and so forth. She's Nehebet Kait, the female aspect of that energy. She's shown here in her serpentine form. She's shown here in the female form. We also show her sacred animal totem as the great Jatabere, or the lioness. But we also show as Nehebet Kawit, her female form, her serpentine form, which is the sacred cobra with the red disc, the solar disc, meaning she's a fire-spitting cobra. She has the capacity as a warrioress, that war cry, that spitting of venom and so forth, to take the war to the enemy, to attack the enemy. As a serpentine form that releases that venom and so forth, and she's in that particular region. Now we look at her feminine form, and what is she wearing on her head? She's wearing the so-called sekem or sesheshet, the so-called sistrum. When you look at ancient Khanit and Kemet and you see a sistrum, it's a musical instrument. And when it's shaken, you'll see Nana Ajwa here, Set. She's holding the sistrum. When you shake the sistrum, the sound vibrations repel inimical spirits, negative discarnate spirits of relatives, non-relatives who are dwelling, to repel them, to clear the area. And we have shakares in the Yoruba tradition. We have, shakers in the Akan tradition and so forth. We don't have the exact same form of the sistrum here, but we still, the shakers during ritual incantation and so forth, they disrupt the energetic projections of disordered entities to repel them from the ritual space. Just like you use sage to clean the space with smoke, we also use the shaker to repel these negative energies and their projections, these negative entities and their projections, so you can clear the space. You no longer have distraction, and you can engage in ritual invocation to align with the ancestor, the ancestress, your Kra, Krawa, or the divinity that you need to align with without any distractions. It's just like taking a detox to purify yourself and repel any negative bacteria, microscopic parasites and so forth, purge them from your system so that then you can begin to put pure food, fuel in your system. It's like fasting, purging yourself of microscopic parasites. Some people take parasite cleanses, and when the stool passes, you will actually see the worms themselves in the stool and so forth that have succumbed to the herbs and so forth and died within the system and were purged out. Once you force that out, cleanse yourself out, then you put the proper fuel, the proper kinds of foods, the clean foods in your body after the fast and so forth, and you can move forward with strength and power and focus. We do the same thing spiritually in our ritual space. The physical body is a temple of ritual space, but in your ritual space, in your home, in a shrine space and so forth, using that shaker to repel these inimical vibrations, these negative discarnate spirits, remove them out of the space, keep them out of the space. The sound vibrations coming from that shaking of that sistrum engage that process. So you see her with the sistrum on her head. But right next to the sistrum, we have another structure. And that structure is actually the larynx, which is the voice box. And inside the voice box, of course, is the vocal cords. The cord, remember hama hama meaning the cord, but hama hama meaning boisterous, roaring and so forth. Nehemauat, Nijmawa is the divinity that releases those sacred sound vibrations, the war cry. The cords are vibrating, creating sound vibrations that can not only break glass, but repel negative spirits, negative vibrations, negative entities, and so forth. That is the sistrum within your neck. Your neck is a serpentine entity in her form as a serpent. Nehebet Kawit, the great serpent in the neck structure with the solar fire energy and so forth. When you speak, whether you're speaking through verbalization, even spoken word poetry or ritual incantation, ritual song, and so forth, ritual chant, those sound vibrations, those chords within the sacred system, within the serpentine structure of the throat, are governed by Nehemauat. And when she's aligned with properly, only the sound vibrations that reflect divine order, that can repel disorder and also can bring balance through healing, are released through those vocal cords. The sistrum in the throat, in the neck, is the sacred shrine of Nehemauat in the body. So then you also find that the term Nehem also means a musical instrument, and you see the sistrum here once again. And then you get back to rejoice, to praise, to beat a drum, a tambourine, but you're talking about praising, releasing sound vibrations. That includes that instrument, the musical instrument they're talking about rejoicing and singing and chanting and so forth. The musical instrument that they're talking about is the sekem, the sesheshet, the so-called sistrum. Now, this information, Egyptologists know nothing about. Until we put this information forward, they were unaware that Nehemauat is the one who's the divinity who governs the vocal cords. They could translate a text and understand that, Nehemauat means chord, and it also means musical instrument. It also means to bellow and cry. It also means, the divinity who, engages in warfare and so forth, but they couldn't understand what it's talking about. When we talk about ritual roaring or bellowing, we're talking about that warrior expansive force to attack, to release the sound vibrations, to attack the enemy, the battle cry, the war cry, the hymn-hymnic cry, and so forth. But then when you're talking about the rejoicings, the praisings, the singing, the ritual chanting, the musical instrument, those are the contractive forces, the sound vibrations that bring healing, restoration of order, repairing damage in tissues, repairing damage within the spirit body, and so forth. So when you invoke Nehemauat, you're invoking the divinity who can use those sound vibrations to wage war, to destroy, to attack, but also those sound vibrations to heal. When she's a consort of Tahuti and so forth, there's a shrine of Tahuti that's being renovated, the shrine of Nehemauat being renovated. There's a relationship between Tahuti and Nehemauat. When they say they're married and so forth, what they're talking about is that fusion of their function. He is the spokesperson or the mouthpiece of Ra, Ra'et, Amen, Amenet. He's the divine wisdom and so forth. So what they're talking about is, as he is the spokesperson of the Supreme Being, in concert with Nehemauat, who governs the vocal cords, when those sound vibrations are released, that means your incantations, your speech, your chant, your ritual song, your communications to other Afurakani, Afuraitkaitnit people must be in alignment or married to divine wisdom, so that your projections are always speaking and reflecting and reflective of divine order. When you're attacking or waging war against the enemy, or stimulating people to rise up and wage war against the enemy, when people have a rousing speech and so forth, the sound vibrations move through the bodies of the people, and they're inspired to get up and wage war against the enemy, wage war against the police who are murdering our people and so forth. They're stirred up. This is why they will try to silence people who are great orators and so forth, because they know those sound vibrations will stir up the energy of the person and make them get up and move. That's all it takes, is a spark. They don't understand, of course, that spark is coming from the divinity governing the vocal cords, the hama hama, the roaring, the hama hama, the cord, stretching the cord to establish the temple, stretching the vocal cords to release those sound vibrations, to renovate the temple, to renovate the purity within the body and so forth. They're talking about, this is what's being talked about. So the expansive aspect of it is waging war, stimulating, inspiring people to engage the war practice to destroy disorder, destroy disordered entities and the purveyors of disorder. The contracted phase is dealing with the healing aspect, restoration of order, replenishment, rejuvenation, cleansing, and so forth.